you able to see them?
No.
Okay. Mike, are you getting anything on your screen to present?
I'm sorry, it's on my screen to present, I thought, Olivia, so hold on.
Okay.
Do I have to, what do I need to click on here? Share my screen. Okay. Here we go. And there we go.
We're good. We can see your screen. Good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so thanks everybody for attending. I've been given the pleasure of talking about some exciting new technology that Kodak offers, and it's designed around this concept of either network scanning or wireless network scanning. And so we're going to spend a few minutes this afternoon talking about how we can give your workplace a wireless boost. The challenge that we're really solving the problem of, the problem that we're looking at, really is designed around what I'm going to start off with as kind of a Jeopardy question. The answer is 50, 74, 44, and that's what we're going to be looking at. So the question is, what serves these numbers in the marketplace today? So the first thing is it's little doubt that offices are changing. Many people are, if they're not working from home, then the people that are working in an office environment today, it's quite different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. In the older days, people had private offices, walls and doors, and now those types of private spaces have become somewhat passé. And what's happening is modern offices look more like this. Lower walls, people are collaborating together. Customer problems are a little bit more complex, and not any one person has the answer to these questions. So because of the combined skills, people need to be working together more, and we need to be providing more mobility to people, because they may not be doing things right at their desk, but moving around the office and doing work from various locations. So with that in mind, because people are becoming more and more mobile, whether it be with using their cell phones or tablets, or using their laptops and moving around, there's more and more move towards wireless in the office infrastructure. There's a lot of reasons for that. Wireless is much less expensive in terms of its cost to implement, and it provides connectivity to virtually anybody who needs it, and of course it's easier to maintain. And at the end of that part of the discussion, that leads to the beginning of our, what problem we're trying to solve, and that 50% of companies are becoming wireless, and because they're less expensive, they're going in that direction. I saw this term of BYOD probably for the first time a few months ago, and I got a little excited when I thought we were changing our policies at work. But BYOD, of course, is terminology for bringing your own device. And the ideas around bringing your own device is such that people are being asked to be able to utilize their PCs, their laptops, their mobile devices, their palms, whatever, in an environment where they now have access to these wireless networks, and these policies are becoming less and less stringent, where in the past many companies wouldn't allow their users to access their email on their cell phones or whatever. Now more and more they're allowing these sorts of things to occur. Now, in addition to the enhancement of BYOD, there is a lot of changes going on with adoption of cloud-based technology. More and more companies are looking at the cloud. They're testing it in smaller applications and finding that if it's successful, they're deploying it more and more to enterprise-level type applications. And a good example of this for many companies is the use of Salesforce.com. Now, that's a product we use as a sales organization, but in fact, most large industrial, commercial enterprises where they have a sales organization doing work are utilizing Salesforce.com or some other iteration like Salesforce, where there's a lot of information that's no longer kept within your own building, and it's deployed out on the cloud, and it's creating an environment where we need more and more mobility for people who want to access and move data. But with all these changes, there's my 44% growth rate in the use of the cloud. So with all these changes that are going on, there's still an issue where security is of a huge concern. When we talk with folks about what is impacting the deployment of these BYOD or cloud-based technologies, one of the biggest issues is the need for security. And the fact that people are very comfortable with the status quo, the concept of going wireless or being able to deploy wireless is proceeding very slowly, and the biggest, concern surrounding that, of course, is the need for security. In addition, the idea of going with new technology is always a challenge. For users, and for all of us, nobody really likes change, particularly when you're at work. You like the way things are done, and change is generally met with some opposition. And on the other side, for the deployment, it's difficult for IT organizations to deploy these types of technologies easily and simply when trying to make it so that people will embrace it so that it's as good or better than what they have been traditionally dealing with. And of course, one other question that always comes up: are shared devices really productive? It's great when we can leverage our investments, but when we walk away from our desk to make a copy, or if we walk away from our desk to go scan a document, are we losing focus on our job at hand? Can we accomplish complex jobs while we are moving around our offices efficiently? And the other thing is that when, if we're dealing with customers face-to-face, there's always that question of, gee, if you take my documents and you go somewhere with them, I don't want to lose that control of these documents. I want to see what you're doing with them while I'm standing there in front of you. So this is the basic problem that we're trying to address, and the solution that we are going to be discussing today is the use of two new product offerings that Kodak has developed, which are called the Kodak ScanMate I1150WN and I1190WN. Now, Kodak has two scanners in their portfolio today called the I1150 and the I1190. They're small tabletop units that scan 30 and 40 pages per minute. Actually, here's a picture of the I1150 in terms of its footprint. But the WN portion of these devices is the idea of being able to do wireless scanning or network scanning, hence the W and the N. The idea behind these scanners is that they deliver a very simple user interface. They're mobile, and they allow companies to share the use of these scanners among groups of individuals. And in the case of the I1190, which is similar in function to the I1150, it's a little bit faster, it's a little bit more powerful, and because of that may have more uses just because it can scan more documents than the I1150 can. But conceptually, they are two scanners that can do many of the same things. So in use, the idea around the I1150 and 90 products are they can be used by more than one person as a wireless or network scanner. It's great for use in a collaborative open office plan. They can connect directly to a wireless infrastructure, and it also creates creates its own wireless access point if used in the wireless environment. Now, I happen to have a customer that tested this device here in Rochester, and I've talked with them about it, and the users have found the device to be very easy to use. It's been a productivity improvement for them, even though they once had a small scanner right next to them attached to their PC in the past. They find these scanners provide them with superior image quality, and they've also found it much faster than their scanners, so that it's easy for them to set off, I need to scan some documents, walk over, scan them, and get good results much quicker and faster than they could with their original scanners. The devices are also easy to deploy. They're very IT friendly. They integrate very easily with existing business applications. They connect today. They use traditional Twain and ISIS drivers, which are what most scanners use in the marketplace. In the near term, they'll be able to use Linux, Windows image application, and Twain direct drivers so that they'll have even easier implementation in a wireless environment. And it's easy as well for customers to create integration using web APIs so that this can be integrated with other web-based applications. So from a security perspective, and this, I've talked with a number of customers about this product, and this has always been the first question that comes up, of course. And the device does use industry standard wireless security. If a user or if a company wants, they can add additional security using HTTPS implementation. And then in environments where they don't want wireless to be deployed, the unit can be connected via a network cable directly to your network, or if you want, it could be deployed like a traditional scanner with a USB connection directly to a user's PC. And then the intuitive display on the device it allows for erroneous scanning. For example, if there's 3 users in an environment, Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Dick goes out and makes a request to want to scan some documents, when he walks over to that device or anybody else walks over to that device, the scanner will say this unit is being used by Dick or Tom or Harry, whoever is chosen to use the device at that time, and nobody else will have access to it until they have scanned their documents through the scanner. Now these devices are, because they're network deployable, they're wireless, and the idea is to deploy many of those around your organization quickly and easily. It's pretty straightforward. What happens, and this is the first I've ever seen with a scanner of this type or of any type, you can, there's a little application within the scanner interface where you can set up this scanner to be deployed in one installation, let's say, and once you've set up the way you want with your IP network protocols and all the rest, you hit a setup button, and what it does is it prints out a piece of paper with a QR code that then allows you to go to any other scanner you want to put on this network, run that QR coded document through the scanner, and it will set up the scanner's profile automatically. So there's no more having to go into a PC and having to set up a whole bunch of different configuration pieces. It's all done through that one QR code page. Oh, as you can see, going through. In the wireless deployment, as it's defined, it's cable-free. It's takes a very small footprint, and it's pretty nice for those environments where you have an open office plan where people could easily walk up, utilize the scanner, and then release it for the next user to scan their documents. And the other component of this, which we have touched upon but haven't really spoken to in depth, is that when you deploy this wireless device, it basically can connect to any other wireless type of device, so you can scan to a PC, a tablet, mobile, virtually any other type of device where you want to capture that document. As you'd expect with any Kodak scanner, it does provide extraordinarily high-quality images, and it will scan everything from credit cards, ID cards, straight up through legal and letter-size documents. The scanners do deploy Kodak Perfect Page technology, so you get a crisp, clear image first time through, and the image processing is done on the scanner so that you end up with a very quick performance in terms of output of that high-quality image. The panel display on the device is also very easy to use. It's intuitive English language, so that when you're scanning documents or whoever is scanning the documents, the user panel will give you the information so you'll know what is happening on the scanner, who's using it, for what type of documents they're scanning. As you would expect, the units are quite portable. They are very compact, and it's great for very small spaces. Teller operations in banks. In my customer's case, it's a traditional office environment, but they have very little footprint available for their scanners, so it takes up very little space. Did you lose me, Olivia?
Yes, Mike. Actually, I was going to pop in here and let you know we lost you. You're still stuck on slide 21 on our display. What I can do is, since I have your presentation, I can go and take over where you left off and use it on my screen. Would that sound okay?
Okay, that's great.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Maybe it's because I talk too fast.
Can you guys see it? Great. Okay. All right, Mike, just let me know when you're ready to move to the next slide, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ready. I don't see the presentation, Olivia, so I'm only seeing the welcome to the webinar.
Okay, you're on slide number 27, easy to move around.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, so that would be 25. Okay, so and the idea on 26, the scan to any device allows you to scan to any mobile any device on your system. Now, going to the next slide for the ScanMate Plus mobile app, this particular software allows you to deploy the scanning to any mobile device, and it allows you to put paper into the scanner. You press the scan button, and the image will appear on your tablet, on your mobile device, or on your PC, depending on how you have deployed that. You can create your own mobile interfaces using RESTful Web API integration, and it also, this application is available directly at no cost on iTunes or at the Google Play Store. So, kind of in conclusion on this, the idea is that these scanners, one scanner, whether it be the I-1150 or the I-1190, can be deployed in one of many configurations. It can be from the top, as you look at that screen. Okay, I've lost my connection again, but let me just say, when you look at that screen, the device allows you to scan to a PC directly, wirelessly, or you can scan as peer-to-peer through network, having it as a network peer-to-peer device. It could be wired directly into the scanner through your networking cable. It allows you to scan wirelessly to mobile as well, being on a USB connection, scanning directly or to mobile, and allows you to share this scanner among many users. On to slide 29. The concept here is the idea of the wireless network scanners being very simple, shareable, mobile, powerful, versatile, easy to use, and allows you to future-proof your operation in terms of getting yourself ready for today as you become more cloud-based, mobile-based implementations. All right, and then the last piece here is that the software also from Kodak, whether it be Capture Pro, Info Input that we'll be talking about today, or Kodak Asset Management software, are all can be used with these devices to add additional performance and functionality for you. And that is the end of my wireless piece, Olivia.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch this presenter role over to Bob Andrioni from Kodak Alaris. Just 1 minute, Bob.
Okay. Olivia, can you hear me?
Yes, Bob, you sound good.
Okay. And I don't know if you can see my screen yet or not.
No, I don't see your screen yet. Click share. Or you can try Control Alt and the letter D as in dog.
Control Alt D. Does that help?
No.
Okay. Do you want to drive? If you want to put mine up and drive it like you did with Mike? Or is there more I should be doing on this side?
Hey, Bob, I'll go
Yes.
ahead and pull this up. Just give me 1 moment.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone. Thank you very much for, being patient with us. Hey, Bob.
Did it come up?
Your screen is showing right now, so go right ahead.
All right. I'm Bobby Andrioni from Kodak, and what I'm going to talk about primarily are the production scanners. We have two sets of scanners, and we call them the actually three sets of scanners called the X50 team. The set we'll spend the most time on today is the 5000 series, the 5250, 5650, and 5850, which were just released about a month ago. And they complement the other scanners that are already in the system, the 4850, 4650, 4250, which we generically call the 4X50 family, as well as the smaller scanners, the 3000s, the 3250 and the 3450. Okay, so these are all relatively new scanners with new technology in them, all backed by Kodak support. This is the Kodak advertisement, and we'll go through some of these productivity situations on the iX50, on the 5X50, I should say. And then when I say 5X50, that's for both the smaller model, 5250, as well as the 5650. The items in blue on the table are the current products that we just talked about. They are replacing a slightly older model, 5200 and 5600. The footprint, if you will, of the scanner itself is virtually identical. The price point is identical as its predecessor, the 52 and the 56, and the scanner is faster. So those are the basics of it. And just from a level setting standpoint, if we compare the 5000 series to the 4000 series in terms of list price and in terms of pages per minute, that gives you an idea of the prices. So we go from basically a $10,000 device at 110 pages a minute all the way up to an $80,000 device at 210 pages a minute. Some of the highlights on the X50s, on the 5X50s. It has a one button programming on the operator control panel. So we redesigned the entire control panel. It does multiple things. One of the things that it does, the scanner itself has multi-feed detection, and we actually have 4 methodologies of making sure that you only scan one page at a time. We take a look at it through ultrasonics. We have something called intelligent document protection. So if there's a folded corner on 2 pages, it will actually detect that. It actually has a metal detector, so if there's staples that are going through or paper clips, it'll actually stop the scanner before there's any damage done or before there's any imaging done. And there's also a length detection as well. So basically there's 4 ways to detect a multi-feed. So we're pretty confident that there's not going to be multi-feeds going through. However, if there are multi-feeds that go through, and in some cases there are because you want them to happen, such as this example of a Post-it note going through there, it will actually pop it up on the monitor. It'll actually pop up, the image and say, is this what you want? If it is, you literally hit the accept button on the operator control panel and you simply proceed. If it is not something you want, you simply hit the rescan button, remove that page, and put it back in the feeder, and you rescan it. Again, like I said before, it has a metal detection system, which is really designed for staples, and the staple can be in an individual page. It can be 2 or 3 or 4 pages stapled together, and it will actually stop the scanner prior to, number one, the staple doing any damage inside the scanner. And obviously, you won't be able to scan multiple pages. It'll stop it before that. The other thing we've done with the 5000 series is we now have patch configurators. And think of a patch as a document that you would prep into the load of work before you put it into the machine. Patch basically signals to the machine that says, hey, I want you to do something different with the pages that follow this patch than you've been doing. So for instance, if you're scanning traditional 300 DPI black and white, creating PDFs, for instance, once it sees, let's say, patch 10, the following documents behind that might be 4 by 6 inch glossy photographs that you want to scan at 600 DPI and create JPEG images. And it will continue to do that until it sees another patch that says, go back to where I was or go back to do something different. So this allows you to do some flexible things. We are going to come out with about a dozen preset patches, if you will, but you'll also have the ability to create patch codes to do virtually anything you want to do. Within the scanner itself, you have the ability to read barcodes. That's actually inherent in the drivers of the scanner itself, so you don't necessarily have to rely on barcode reading software. We also have the ability to imprint on the document, and we can do that before it's scanned, right? So it'll show up on the electronic document. You can also do it after it's been scanned, so post-scan. So you basically tag the physical piece of paper that says document number 1, 2, 3, 4 was, scanned on day number or date, day whatever by operator, whoever. And you also have the ability to do it all digitally. In other words, you don't have to physically stamp anything on the physical piece of paper at all. You can just have it appear on the electronic document. You also have the ability to do what we call intelligent imprinting. It gives you the ability to do different styles of printing. In other words, you can do it by patch. You can do something we call image addressing, which is kind of a throwback to the old microfilm, micrographics kind of days, which is kind of a 3-level blipping in the modern day, if you will. So the 5000s have that kind of flexibility. You also have the ability to drop out 5 different kinds of colors, right? So if you're doing any kind of form kind of situation, obviously your OCR read rates would increase if you can neutralize that color. If that color is traditionally red, you can neutralize red. In this particular example, it's green, blue, and appears to be some type of orange. It also has the ability to do a straight-through paper path. The traditional scanning path is more or less a C shape. You load it in the front, and the page comes out in the front. Not all documents will work that way. Think of a UPS-style cardboard envelope, if you will, or a FedEx envelope that might not make that curve. You have the ability to electronically open up the back of the scanner and allow that document to pass through the back side of the scanner. Also inherent to the scanner itself is the ability to enhance the, well, first of all, you get a better OCR read rate because you have a better image. And actually what we do is we actually enhance that image when you're doing OCR ability. So again, that's basically built into the firmware of the scanner itself. So 600 DPI on our scanners will probably provide you with better success from an OCR read rate than somebody else. Real quick stance on the i5850 scanner. It actually this is the biggest one. This is the $80,000 device, if you will. It has the ability to have 2 stackers on the front, so you can actually have 2 exit hoppers. So you can input, you know, all kinds of documents, and then you can separate by size. For instance, you can put checks into one exit hopper. You can put traditional 8.5 by 11 into the other. You can also sort out toggle patches, things like that. Okay, the idea here is that I can provide, let's see if this actually works. If this video clip actually comes up, it'll actually show you a brand new scanner that's scheduled to come out in another month or 2, but it's on the 5850 frame that has sorting capability. In this particular case, we're going to sort via landscape. You're going to sort checks into the top hopper. You're going to sort traditional 8.5, 11 documents into the bottom front hopper, and you're going to kick out patch codes into the back side. So you effectively have 3 exit bins, for lack of a better way to say it. Okay, this is the same type of situation, but again, in this case, you're scanning in portrait mode rather than in landscape mode. So again, you see that there's smaller size documents in the top hopper, traditional 8.5 by 11 in the hopper number 2, and then the patch codes are being kicked out the backside. So that gives you the ability to do now some relatively simple sorting. I'll show one more example, and then we'll stop the video clip. But in this particular case, they've prepped the documents. You're going to kick out, you're going to have patch codes that are saying, hey, I need to take this particular type of document and sort it separately. And that's what's coming out in the top hopper, and of course the patch code is going out into the backside. So think of that in terms of for instance, a pension plan kind of situation where you may have to have signatures and physically keep the paper document on file for quite a while. So that's the idea behind that. So the i5000 series, you have things like interactive multi-feed resolution, barcode, reading capability, intelligent document protection and printing, image addressing, and of course you have the proven performance of the 5000 Kodak name. And that's the end of that presentation.
Okay. Okay, Bob, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Finally, we're going to pass the presenter role over to Tim Stevens, who will be telling us more about info input. Tim?
Thanks, Olivia. Get my presentation up here.
Okay.
Everybody see it? Okay. So thanks, Bob. We appreciate you being on the call with us today. What I'm going to do is talk a little bit about a software product from Kodak called Info Input. And a lot of what we've been talking about with Mike's presentation about wireless scanning, there's a lot of web-based scanning opportunities out there as far as applications that you're currently using or business processes that could benefit from this. So when we look at being able to capture things from the web or through devices such as cameras or phones or things of that nature, then there's 5 big challenges and Kodak's one big solution. So the challenges kind of are, how can we streamline the process? How can we get documents into the system quicker? How can we integrate them into our business applications? How can we be faster at what we're doing? So I want to be able to use web connectivity. I want to integrate my mobile phones into these. I want to be able to capture documents in the field and immediately upload them and send them through the same process as if I had been sitting in my office scanning them or if they'd been scanned in the central records area. How can we get this all done as quickly as possible from wherever the person is that has the document? I still have compliance issues, and if I want to be able to grab all these documents at different places, from my phone or from a remote operational site, from a department, I want to be able to do this all the same way so that when I look at my compliance, am I really making sure that I know who had this, who's seen this document, how did it get into the system? And if I can do that in a sustained process where everyone does it the same way, then I'm going to be much better chance of being within compliance of what I'm trying to do. And if there is ever a question of who saw the document, it's very easy to track back and see the process of that document and who had touched it. The other thing is, there's an escalating cost. Scalability, I've got licensing issues, what's it cost to put some type of web capture or mobile capture onto my existing systems. And a lot of the big operations that have, the Kofaxes of the world and the Captivas of the world, those remote type of capture solutions are very expensive. And when you bolt those on to your existing system, it's a significant cost. So I have the need, but the cost in those type systems is very high. I need a better solution for that. And finally, what I think is driving, number one, which, the streamlining of our process is that, we live in a now world. All of us sitting around at the table at dinner or someone says something and you question, the first thing you do is you pick up your phone, you Google it, and you get your answer right away. People want that kind of customer service when it comes to dealing with businesses in the world. They want to be able to get online and see something. They want to be able to make a phone call and get an answer, and they don't want to wait. So what can I do to speed up our process, to get the information into our systems as soon as possible so that when that customer calls in or when that customer makes an inquiry through our website, they can see exactly what we've done, where their application or where their claim or where whatever they have is in the process. And that's highly important in going forward in today's business world, is being able to have that fast customer service. So these are kind of the challenges that a lot of companies are facing as they think about web capture and mobile. And so Kodak has come up with a new solution called Kodak Info Input. And I say new solution, this is really a solution that has been implemented in a number of extremely large companies in the U.S. And internationally. Their largest applications have over 3,000 concurrent users. So this is a product that is proven and can be implemented into your systems. So let's talk about some of those parts. I want to be able to streamline the process. So information coming to us, we're receiving documents at remote offices, different departments. I want to be able to get those into my system quickly, and I want to be able to get them into the right workflow and through the process as soon as possible. So by utilizing a web capture, I can now capture documents in a multitude of ways. So if I've got paper coming into remote offices, I can scan it and bring it in. If I receive an email at a remote office or someone who's working from home, they can enter the document in the same way as if they had scanned it. So what I'm able to do is bring uniformity into the way that we induct documents into our system. So again, that we're getting it done quicker and we're getting it done the same way every time. The other beautiful part of this product is we can integrate it right into your business application. So if you're in a claims processing app and you need to scan a document or you need to ingest a document that you've received as an email, it's a very simple process to hit a button within your application. It will prompt you for whatever information you need to enter and then bring the document in. So this being able to automate from within your application is highly valuable and really speeds up the process of getting this information into your system. Okay. So just key benefits, I can embed this into my line of business. The other part of it is it's not something new for my employees to learn because it's going to be a part of their current business process. So there's less training to do with it. I can standardize the way all of my documents are scanned and the way that they're or indexed, whether I scan it in or it's come in electronically. So I can get that to be standardized. And the other part of it is, if it's a web-based product here now, my IT controls the scan settings for everybody. So, Joe in Iowa is scanning a 300 DPI color, and Sue in Florida is scanning 200 DPI black and white. We can make sure that everybody is doing it exactly the same way. And that's really valuable because a lot of companies today spend a lot of time cleaning up documents that come in from remote offices or from the field or from situations like that. Okay, so we'll go back here. So let's talk a bit about web connectivity. This is something that needs to be flexible, but compliance is really important. I want to have the flexibility to take a picture with my phone and ingest a document. I want to have the flexibility for someone that has a scanner at their home to, if they have documents that they've collected during the day of work in the field, to be able to upload into the system. So I want all that flexibility where I can scan from anywhere, capture from anywhere, but I need to control that so that for compliance I can go back and say, this is how we do it. This is who touched the document from beginning to end. And so you have that audit trail, and it makes this really good for your compliance within your department. So it keeps me and lets me control my chain of custody. And that's really an important thing in a lot of the customers that we talk with today. So again, key benefits, multi-fleet. What multi-fleet means is it doesn't matter what kind of scanner you have and where they're at, those scanners will all work with this software. We can do mobile capture. You can capture documents from your MFPs like you do today. Centrally deploy all the updates, so everybody's scanning or implementing the documents into the system exactly the same way and capturing the same data. And it also integrates with Active Directory, so it's easy to deploy and easy to maintain. Okay. So we talked about web connectivity. We talked about compliance there. Another challenge is just escalating costs. What can we do? So this is a solution that can work across all the platforms that you have within your company. So this could be an enterprise solution. Everyone's doing things exactly the same. Or maybe it's a bolt-on or an enhancement to a Kofax or a Captiva system to where for all my remote capture, we're going to use the Kodak info input process. The beauty is this is a non-click type license. So a lot of the other software available in the market today is a volume license. You have so much for however many scans or documents you run through the process per year. With the info input product, there are no click charges. There are no volume licenses. So this is a concurrent license, meaning that however many users you have is how many people can be on the system at any one time, but the number of documents that you can process is unlimited. So if you're paying big licensing bills and big support bills for your other products, and you can offload some of that work to where you don't have to run it through that process, all of a sudden you have the ability to save costs on that license and on that support. And the other thing is, with this, whenever there's an upgrade, I don't have to go out to everybody's workstation and do the upgrade. This is not a PC-based product. This is a web-based or mobile-based product. So any of the updates are done at the central servers, and so the next time that I log in through the web to do my scanning, I get the latest settings, the latest updates to whatever the software is, and so I don't have that IT nightmare of upgrading 1,000 or 2,000 workstations with the latest version of this capture product. So again, that's a huge cost saver, makes it much easier to deploy, makes it much easier to maintain. Okay, so again, concurrent license means no volume charges. This is a great way to save costs along those lines, and that central deployment makes it much easier to maintain and to keep running. So finally, how am I going to improve my customer service? How am I going to make things easier for my employees? I'm going to try to simplify the process, and in simplifying it, I'm also going to speed it up. So number one, if I can, I want to be able to capture from within my business application. That's the easiest way to speed things up. It's a way to get things into your system immediately. Since we can do that, then I don't have to spend a lot of time learning a different system to be able to scan and index, because it's all going to be built right into my existing application. So I have less time to get that up and running. I can make sure that the work is going to the right place, okay, because based on who I am, my work goes into certain workflows. And again, creating that chain of custody that helps you with the compliance. It's one business solution across your company, so no matter where you're at, you log in Columbus, you log in Rochester, you log in California, it doesn't matter. You're seeing the same capture process wherever you're at, and wherever you put your laptop down, you can do that. So it's a great advantage in running a business that is mobile and out in the marketplace. And finally, if you're capturing the information at the point of need, the customer's going to be happy, because we're going to be faster in getting their information into our process and faster in getting it completed, and we can let them know where we're at all the time. So again, no additional learning, simple workflow setup. Your access, who you are, drives where the documents you scan go to, or the documents that you bring in. So again, we're controlling who sees the documents, making sure they're getting into the right path. They're captured much earlier in the process. We're not waiting for them to be mailed into the central records area. We're not waiting for them to be emailed to the central records area and someone to grab the PDFs. We're getting them in the field where they're actually coming into it initially, so we're speeding everything up. And by doing that, we're going to improve our customer service so that when that phone call comes or that web inquiry comes, we have information available to them about where the claim or the application or whatever it might be is in the process. Okay, so just a quick recap here to finish it up. The info input extends your processes despite whatever device it is and wherever you're located. So it gives you great flexibility in capturing documents. It can be set up as a batch, traditional batch capture, or it can be transactional, built into your line of business, or a combination of both. So it has great flexibility that way. Reduced maintenance cost from IT. One, you're not paying for all those volume licenses, you're not paying support on all those volume licenses, and now you're able to roll out upgrades and changes and everything you need to do without going out to every workstation in your company to do that. Be able to create full visibility of the documents. So again, it helps improve my customer service, and it's a repeatable process from beginning to end. So everyone's doing it the same way. Again, highly important things in today's marketplace. I can reduce my operating costs by capturing at the point of need. So wherever the document is originated, I can grab it there and not have to worry about mailing it or shipping it or any other type of transportation of that document. I can get it right into the system. And finally, there's no delays. If I process at the point of need, I'm going to create a much better customer service environment, which at the end of the day is what we're all striving to do. So that's it on the info input. I know that was a very short presentation for a very robust product that can do a number of things. We will be scheduling within the next 2 to 3 weeks a full demo of the product so that you can see it actually in how it works as a batch process, and how it works as a part of the line of business process. And so that will be coming up within the next 3 weeks. We'll send out a follow-up invite to all of you, and hopefully you can join us then and actually see the product and how it works. So with that, I think we've completed it. Olivia, do we have any questions on the board?
Nope, I do not see any on the board, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to speak up. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody here.
Okay.
So, yep. And get that. Okay, everybody's off mute, so feel free to speak up if you have any questions.
Are we off of mute? Everyone?
It's awful quiet.
All right. Are there any questions? Okay. If not, again, thank you all for your time. If you'd like additional information about any of the products that we talked about, just let us know. We'd be happy to provide that for you. Olivia will send you a link to this presentation so that if you want to see it again or pass it along to someone within your company, feel free to do that. And thanks to Bob, Andreoni, and Kodak for joining us here today. I hope you all have a great afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Thank you.
All right. Bye now.